Merry Christmas from the Book Tart. I wanted to tell you about a new novella I just read. It's by Taryn Elliott and it's called Holiday Sparks. And it has a really yummy cover. This is supposed to be Ben, the hero, and he has all those tattoos. He's a tattoo artist. And there's a Christmas tree because Ben loves Christmas. And the heroine's name is Darcy. And Darcy hates Christmas. And this story, I love disappearing into a book by Taryn. Taryn Elliott writes with so much heart, and her characters are very well drawn, very relatable. I feel like I know them. And Darcy, I've been there. Retail is hell at Christmas time. If you've worked retail, you know that. If you've shopped retail, you know that. At Christmas time, it can be extremely stressful. And so she's worked retail at this department store. She's a manager. She's done this for a long time. She has had a really bad day. An irate customer came in and he got frustrated and acted out, and a Christmas tree display was knocked down and they have a big mess to clean up. And she gets home after working overtime to deal with this drama and finds out that her house is all decorated for Christmas. She's rented out her duplex to a guy she hardly ever sees and doesn't really know. And so she stomps up to her house because this has been a horrific day and she's had it up to here. And it's like, I know that feeling. I know that feeling. So she is tearing down the lights. Well, trying not to destroy the siding, but she's taking them out. And Ben comes over because he worked really hard. And he's... let's see. Anger welled up again. She loved her tenant for one reason and one reason only. He was quiet, and they never saw each other. She knew his name because her rent check was, without fail, in her mailbox on the first of every month. They barely spoke beyond polite hellos. He was usually leaving for work when she was coming home. And he'd ruined her house. Mom, Carly sighed. It's bath time. Anyway, I just wanted to say wow. She leaned in and gave her a hug. Darcy patted her back awkwardly. Crap balls. Great job. The association is going to love you this year. We're so glad you decided to join in for Christmas. A child's bellow came across the yard again. I gotta go before Caden drowns Abby. Numb, Darcy watched her house. The song changed to We Wish You a Merry Christmas and the lights went haywire. And then she lost it. 4, 5, 6. Ben paused as the Christmas song fizzled out. He pushed up the last 2 reps, then dumped his weight bar back onto the rack and rolled off the bench. He thought he'd worked all the kinks out of that program. He hurried down the steps and came to an abrupt halt. The lights on the porch were out. Damn it. He swung around the door and frowned. His landlady's spectacular ass lined up perfectly with his face. Stunned for a moment, he simply stared before asking, "What are you doing?" Their doors were side by side in the setup of the duplex. She had a pair of pliers in her hand, and each of the clear clips he'd painstakingly tacked around the arched windows were sprinkled across their shared deck. "I'm taking," she grunted, "down the lights." The glow from the lights on the bushes highlighted the khaki material that hugged her ass a little too perfectly. He frowned and returned his focus to the window above. Why? "Because," she snarled and pulled. Another clip fell and the string of lights sagged against her shoulder. "Hate Christmas." How can you hate Christmas? Even his cranky old Grandpa Radley loved Christmas. So, yeah, the interaction, and he's going to take down the lights. She tells him he can leave them up for the night. She goes into work the next day, and she has to deal with the Christmas disaster. And her boss says they need to fix it because they have big wigs coming in. And does she know anyone who can help? And she's like, yeah, Ben. If you like Christmas, he did a really, really beautiful job on the house. She was just in no mood for it. So she has to go eat crow and ask for his help. And he's helpful. I loved Ben. He's big and smart and artistic and gentle and strong and caring, and yeah, I want to snuggle up with him and hold him and keep him. And Darcy, I wanted to be her friend. I get it. I get that stress. I totally, yeah. sympathized and loved how she had the strength to ask for help, and how she later on has the strength to acknowledge her heart even though she's scared. It's a beautiful story. There's a lot of humor, a lot of bits that made me laugh out loud. There's bits that made me cry with the emotion. And the sensual scenes are beautiful and lyrical in their word choices. I love how Taryn Elliott writes, and I highly recommend Holiday Sparks if you like contemporary erotic romance with just the right amount of heat level. It's a beautiful novella. Merry Christmas from the Book Tart.